Hello and welcome back to Donna Gail Vlog. Today we are going to be talking about the app Heartbeat. So this video is kind of going to cater to the content creators or influencers out there because the Heartbeat app is an app for influencers to start getting paid promotions. So I started using Heartbeat in early 2020, right when the pandemic started, because it was a great way to get my foot in the door and start doing paid promotions. Because I was fairly new to the game of posting content that was paid, I didn't really know what I was going to get myself into by doing this app, but right off the bat, I really liked the idea of actually getting paid for my time and work put into posting. Heartbeat makes it very easy to apply for campaigns. All you have to do after signing up for the app itself is answer a few questions about yourself, and then you're right into the game. They give you a pay rate based on what your engagement rate is, and then you can go from there. Even in the app itself, it has a question link that links to the most common question they get is, how is my pay rate determined? In the answer, they don't really give you a lot of specifics. It's more of just them saying, it's based on a whole bunch of things. We have a lot of algorithms, but it's based on that. Even when I contacted them directly about this question, they kind of gave me a very vague answer on it, and it gave me the impression that the pay rate I was getting was based on my overall page engagement and not just the per post engagement of Heartbeat campaigns. So it took me a couple weeks to get accepted for a campaign, but once I started, it was very addicting. It was so much fun having the opportunity to get paid for these promotions. I'm gonna be very honest with you guys, I was getting paid $25 a post, which if you are in this industry, you know that is nothing. For someone like me who had over 18,000 followers, $25 a post is extremely low for that amount of followers and the amount of reach you can gain with those followers. But at the same time, since I was just starting out having paid promotions, I really didn't care how much the money was because it was money. Overall, in the entirety of 2020, I probably made about $350 on the app itself with doing those campaigns, which is not a terrible amount because $350 is $350. However, I started to notice along the line that the effort I was putting into these campaigns was kind of not being appreciated as much as it would have been. But I soon noticed after I started posting these campaigns that on my dashboard in the app itself, it was saying my engagement rate was like 1.9% because it was only taking the engagement based on the campaigns themselves. This also really affected my score because I was also applying for campaigns that only required me to post on my stories. So even though my campaign amount went up, my engagement rate showed that there was no engagement because there wasn't a way for the app to read the engagement I was getting on my stories. It was literally only taking the engagement from posts. Likes, comments, that's it. So because stories don't get likes and comments, it didn't count towards that. So say I did 4 posts that were in feed posts and those got maybe 3% engagement. Pretty good, right? But then I post on my story for that 5th one and it will show 0% engagement because it doesn't show likes and comments. That's gonna plummet your engagement rate down. Now this is all speculation because I actually don't know their algorithms. I don't know what are the ins and outs of what they're saying plays a part in your pay rate. But along the line, I started noticing I was putting a lot more effort into these posts to try and make it sure it fit the theme of my feed and make sure that the engagement rate stayed up, whether it was a sponsored post or a not sponsored post. What I found was that it kind of seemed like it really was only taking the engagement rate of the posts themselves and not my overall posts. The other thing that I found really frustrating was that sometimes these deadlines they were giving me were kind of constrained. More often than not, they gave you a month or 2 to post, which is completely fine, totally doable, even if you have a work schedule like I do. But sometimes even the deliverables were kind of expansive. Some of them required for you to post an in-feed post as well as a story component to it as well. Now, if we're adding up charges here, if you're posting for paid promotions and you have X amount of followers, $25 is not going to cut it when it comes to posting an in-feed post and a story post. But the plus side of those deliverables is that they were always very detailed. They gave you a lot of information on the direction they wanted to go in, the hashtags you needed to use, who you needed to mention, and even gave you ideas on what you can do to create the promotion itself. Overall, they give you a lot of information, so it makes it so you're not asking questions. But if you do have questions, they always left the email of the person that was in charge of the campaign with the company itself. So if you did have a question, you could always reach out to them, which I had to do on a number of occasions when it came down to buying the products themselves. Some campaigns will have reimbursement on top of whatever your pay rate comes out to be. So a few times when I worked with companies that required me to go out and buy the product, they would give me like, okay, your posting rate is $25, but we'll reimburse you the $19 as well on top of that. There were some situations though that I could just not find the product. They would list where it was in the county. If you were in this area, oh, you can find it at this market. And then they would even have links on their website for locators to find it. But what I found more often than not is that those locators do not know what they're doing. There was one company I worked for specifically that I actually called 3 separate liquor stores to try and find where it was, because online it said it's definitely at these places. And then I called the places, 2 of them had never heard of it, and the third one was a store that had been out of business for 2 years. So I used that email that they gave me on the app and I contacted them. They were able to get back to me fairly quickly and said, sorry about that. Here's actually the 4 locations closest to you that for sure have the product. So in those situations, it's really kind of frustrating to have that sort of campaign in mind and then not be able to find the product, especially if you're just driving around trying to find it too, which I did a couple times. And then you're wasting your time trying to find the product that these locators said it was going to be at anyway. That's not necessarily Heartbeat's fault, that's more of the company's fault. But getting back to Heartbeat specifically, what I noticed after about a solid 10 months of posting with them, so this is around December 2020, was that my pay rate actually went down. Now this is where I got very frustrated because I was putting out some insanely good content for them. I worked long and hard on some of these things to edit the pictures correctly, to make it an insane edit in Photoshop, to like work really hard on maybe a choreography for it, find the right location, get the right outfit, all of this stuff, and then they cut my pay rate to $20. Now I get it, $5 is not a lot to gripe over, but when I'm consistently putting good content out there and my overall engagement I can see is going up, and then they cut my pay rate, that doesn't exactly make me want to work with you anymore. Especially because during this time, I'm actually reaching out to brands to try and work with them, and they're giving me an actual pay rate that is worth my amount of followers. So when Heartbeat cut my rate, it kind of played into the fact that they don't take your entire engagement rate into context when they give you your pay rate. They don't care about that. They care specifically about the campaigns that you are posting about themselves through the Heartbeat app. Which is totally fine, but I feel like my engagement rate would have been a lot higher had they considered the engagement that I got in those story campaigns that I did, which is about 3 or 4 campaigns. Overall, the app is good to get going on paid campaigns and to get your foot in the door with a lot of companies, but at the same time, it's not good long-term if you want to continue to grow and actually start getting paid the amount you should be getting paid for to post with a company. Because let me tell you, 18,000 followers, you should not be getting paid $25, nay, $20 to post for a company. That is insanely low, especially if you consider all the time and effort and editing and maybe the outfits you bought to put that post together. Also, lastly, I actually recommended this app to a lot of my followers, and I had a decent amount of people swipe up and tell me that they created an account. Heartbeat has a referral code for you to give to other people, and once they sign up for the app, you get $5. So I thought I would do that. Having those people say they signed up for the app and they've started doing campaigns, whatever, and I get to my referral page and it says, well, 0 people have signed up, so you get $0. That's another thing. Kind of, I'm getting the sense from Heartbeat that they're kind of cheapskates and they don't want to pay their influencers and creators what their actual pay rate is. So be wary of this app. You can definitely get started with the app if you want to start getting paid some promotions, but please remember that your pay rate is going to be so much lower than you might think it is. Now, this is also coming from me with an engagement rate of currently a little over 3%. If you're a smaller account, maybe you only have 5,000 followers, but your engagement rate's 10%, who knows? You might get paid $50 on the app. I really don't know. All I know is that me having 18,000 followers, having a 3% engagement rate, got me about $25, then got reduced to 20. I should be getting paid about $100 per post on Instagram as it sits with the amount of reach and engagement I get. But again, it's gonna vary by user, so who knows what your pay rate will be. If you log on to the app and you make your account, you can find out that way. I will not be giving my referral link because I know it doesn't work. So check out Heartbeat on whatever app thing you need to get it on and check it out if you want to. I will be deleting the app because I don't need it and I am not going to work my butt off for $20. If you found this video helpful, please send it to a friend if they are also a content creator or influencer, or you guys are just trying to get started, or if you found any of the information helpful. Other than that, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you want to see more magic style or tips on how to create content. I will see you all next time. Woo!